From BlackRock's CEO forcing Joe Biden to step out of the electoral race to new details in the attempted assassination of Trump being revealed to the public. In this video, we're going to look at BlackRock's alleged control over Biden and the other attempted assassination on Donald Trump. Biden's ties with BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink. In a move that has stunned the political world, President Joe Biden has officially announced his decision to step down and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris in the upcoming election. And if that's not shocking enough, there is a person said to be at the center of it all. The CEO of the largest asset management firms allegedly forced the President of the United States out of office. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink and the sensational claims that he allegedly played a significant role in President Joe Biden's unexpected withdrawal from the electoral race. This isn't just another political scandal, it's a tale of immense power, secret meetings, and a media campaign that could change how we view democracy forever. The relationship between Wall Street and the White House has always been complex and often shrouded in mystery. In recent times, this relationship has come under intense scrutiny, especially with the growing concerns of President Biden's Wall Street donors. The Dealbook newsletter from July 8, 2024 highlighted that major backers in finance were increasingly worried about Biden's ability to lead the nation effectively. This concern has led to speculations about the role of influential figures like BlackRock CEO Larry Fink in potentially shaping political outcomes. Larry Fink oversees an asset management firm with over $9 trillion in assets. His influence in the financial world is unparalleled. BlackRock's investments span across various sectors, making it a significant player in the global economy. Fink's opinions on economic policies are highly regarded, and his annual letters to CEOs often set the tone for corporate governance and sustainability practices. Fink, unlike his fellow billionaires that prefer to keep a low profile, is known for his strong stance on various economic issues, has been vocal about his dissatisfaction with certain aspects of Biden's administration. So while there is no concrete evidence to suggest that Fink directly forced Biden out of office, the power dynamics between influential financial figures and political leaders cannot be ignored. In recent times, confidential sources have indicated that there were intense discussions among Biden's financial backers about the direction of his administration. These discussions, while not publicly disclosed, have led to questions about the extent of influence that figures like Larry Fink might wield in political decision-making. While all this goes on behind closed doors, public reaction to these revelations has been mixed. Some view the concerns of Wall Street donors as a necessary check on political power, while others see it as a dangerous precedent of corporate overreach. The idea that financial interests could potentially sway political outcomes raises important questions about the integrity of democratic processes. To fully understand the interwoven relationship between Biden and Larry Fink, there are some significant events we ought to pay attention to. One of the most striking connections is the appointment of key BlackRock executives to influential positions within the Biden administration. Brian Dees, who served as the global head of sustainable investing at BlackRock, was appointed as the director of the National Economic Council. Dees's role at BlackRock involved steering investments towards environmentally sustainable projects, a priority that aligns closely with Biden's climate agenda. This alignment raises eyebrows and questions about the influence of BlackRock's priorities on national policy. Another notable figure is Adewale Wole Adeyemo, who served as a senior advisor at BlackRock before being appointed as the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury under Biden. Adeyemo's role at BlackRock involved advising on geopolitical risks and economic policy, experience that undoubtedly shapes his approach to his current role. The transition from BlackRock to the Treasury Department underscores the revolving door between Wall Street and Washington, D.C. One of the most sensational aspects of this story is BlackRock's involvement in the Federal Reserve's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In March 2020, as the pandemic wreaked havoc on the global economy, the Federal Reserve enlisted BlackRock to manage its bond-buying programs. This decision granted BlackRock unprecedented access to the inner workings of the U.S. central bank. BlackRock's role in the Federal Reserve's pandemic response is not without controversy. Critics argued that the firm's involvement in managing the bond-buying program allowed it to benefit from insider knowledge and potentially influence market outcomes. The sheer scale of BlackRock's operations, combined with its intimate connection to the Federal Reserve, creates a scenario that is both shocking and unsettling. But the relationship, as one could expect, isn't all rosy and cozy. There's been some complex differences in both parties' visions along the way. While they have collaborated on various initiatives, their differing views on economic policies have often put them at odds. Sure, Fink supports many of Biden's climate decisions, but there are areas of division, particularly when it comes to regulatory measures. For instance, Biden's administration administration has proposed stricter regulations on the financial sector, including measures to address systemic risks and promote financial stability. These regulations, while aimed at protecting the economy, can be seen as a threat to the operations of large financial institutions like Blackrock. It's also important to note that the ties between Blackrock and Biden are not limited to policy influence and individual appointments. The firm's extensive lobbying efforts also play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape. BlackRock's lobbying expenditures have reportedly increased significantly in recent years, reflecting its growing influence in Washington, D.C. The firm's lobbying efforts allegedly focus on a range of issues, including financial regulation, tax policy, and climate change. One of the most significant aspects of BlackRock's lobbying efforts is its involvement in shaping financial regulation. That, added with the firm's heavy involvement in shaping the global response to climate change, shows that BlackRock has its tentacles buried deep within the government. The firm's involvement in initiatives such as the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures and the Climate Action 100+ Coalition underscores its influence on global climate policy. Why does a non-governmental company have so much vested interest, and why does it have so much control? As the story continues to unfold, the role of influential financial figures in shaping political outcomes remains a topic of intense debate. The concerns raised by Biden's Wall Street donors and the potential influence of Larry Fink highlight the complicated and often non-transparent relationship between finance and politics. With all this information of the relationship between Larry Fink and Biden revealed, it's no wonder why many believe Fink allegedly has something to do with Trump's attempted assassination. But I'll let you decide for yourselves. Blackrock versus Trump. One detail that made people point accusing fingers at Blackrock is the fact that the shooter, Thomas Crooks, appeared in one of their commercials. The shooter's appearance in Blackrock's commercial was a shocking connection. It raised questions about the extent of Blackrock's involvement and whether there were deeper ties between the investment firm and the shooter. As you can expect, the internet went wild with speculations and conspiracy theorists jumped on the wagon. Although Blackrock immediately attempted to distance itself from the shooter by taking down the ad and condemning the shooter's actions, the damage was already done. Conspiracy theorists were quick to link the dots. They pointed to BlackRock's immense influence and its connections to powerful figures like George Soros and the Rothschild family. While BlackRock was still struggling to repair its public image, a shocking discovery was made that hit the company with yet another heavy blow. It came to light that just before the assassination attempt on Trump, Texas-based Austin Private Wealth filed for a massive put option on Trump Media and Technology Group shares. In a move that would send shockwaves through the financial world, they filed for a put option on 12 million shares of Trump Media and Technology Group with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This financial strategy, known as short selling, involves betting on a stock's value to drop. Screenshots of this option quickly circulated on social media, sparking a frenzy of speculation. Could it be that someone knew about the assassination attempt in advance? The timing was too coincidental to ignore. The threads eventually linked back to BlackRock when it was revealed that BlackRock and Vanguard were the two biggest shareholders in Austin Private Wealth. The internet buzzed with accusations and suspicions. Was there a grand scheme to manipulate the stock market and profit from Trump's potential demise? The connections seemed too detailed to be mere coincidence. Austin Private Wealth scrambled to address the rumors. They claimed the SEC filing was incorrect, blaming a clerical error and a third-party vendor for multiplying all options contracts by 10,000. They insisted they held only 12 contracts, or 1,200 shares, not 12 million. But the explanation did little to quell the growing suspicions. But despite their denials, the controversy raged on. Following the assassination attempt, Trump Media and Technology Group's stock price surged from $31.25 to $46.17 per share before stabilizing just above $37. BlackRock's connection to this scandal has left many questions unanswered. Was it truly a clerical error, or is there a deeper, more sinister plot at play? In the high-stakes world of finance and politics, the truth is often stranger than fiction. The timing of Austin Private Wealth's filing, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and the subsequent stock price movements have created a perfect storm of controversy. As the investigation unfolds, the connections between BlackRock, George Soros, and the Rothschild family will likely be investigated like never before. Going even deeper down this rabbit hole, it becomes obvious that BlackRock seems to have a vested interest in the upcoming elections, and it doesn't seem like they are in support of Trump, because in a recent interview, the company sounded the alarm on Trump's re-election, stating, "The re-election election of Donald Trump could pose a fundamental challenge to Europe. As the campaigns for the upcoming election proceeds, the world watches with bated breath. But it's not just America that's on edge. Europe, too, is bracing for impact. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Philip Hildebrand, vice chairman at Blackrock, took the stage to deliver a stark message. He warned that Trump's re-election could pose a fundamental challenge to Europe. But what does this mean, and why is BlackRock, a financial giant, so concerned? To understand the gravity of this situation, we need to delve into the tangled web of global markets and politics. BlackRock manages over $9 trillion in assets that spans continents, and its insights are closely watched by investors and policymakers alike. Europe, with its diverse economies and political landscapes, is particularly vulnerable to external shocks. The European Union, a bloc of 27 member states, relies heavily on stability and cooperation. But Trump's policies, from trade wars to NATO criticisms, have often been at odds with European interests. During his first term, Trump imposed tariffs on European goods, sparking fears of a trade war. He also questioned the value of NATO, calling it obsolete and demanding that European allies pay more for their defense. These moves strained transatlantic relations and left Europe grappling with uncertainty. BlackRock's warning is rooted in the potential economic fallout of Trump's re-election. A second term could see a continuation or even an escalation of his America First policies. This could mean more tariffs, more trade disputes, and more pressure on European economies already reeling from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Europe's economy is deeply intertwined with that of the United States. Trade between the two regions amounts to hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Disruptions to this trade could have far-reaching consequences, from job losses to economic slowdowns. Christine Lagarde, president of the European Central Bank, has also expressed concerns about the potential impact of Trump's re-election. She warned that increased protectionism and trade tensions could undermine global economic recovery and stability. But it's not just the fear that the economy would be at stake. There seems to be fear that Trump's re-election could also have profound political implications for Europe. His support for populist and nationalist movements could embolden similar forces within Europe, leading to greater political fragmentation and instability. Populist movements have been on the rise in Europe, from Brexit in the United Kingdom to the rise of far-right parties in countries like France, Italy, and Germany. Trump's rhetoric and policies have often resonated with these movements, providing them with a powerful ally. During his first term, Trump met with and expressed support for several European populist leaders. His re-election could further legitimize and strengthen these movements, challenging the traditional political order in Europe. Security is another area of concern. Trump's criticisms of NATO and his calls for European countries to shoulder more of the defense burden have raised questions about the future of the transatlantic alliance. A weakened NATO could leave Europe more vulnerable to external threats, from Russian aggression to terrorism. NATO has been a cornerstone of European security since its founding in 1949. The alliance has provided a collective defense mechanism, deterring potential aggressors and ensuring peace and stability in the region. Trump's stance on NATO has created uncertainty about the future of this vital alliance. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been a vocal critic of NATO and has sought to exploit divisions within the alliance. A weakened NATO could embolden Russia to take more aggressive actions in Eastern Europe, further destabilizing the region. The potential for increased political and economic instability in Europe could also lead to social unrest. Protests and demonstrations have already erupted in several European countries over issues ranging from economic inequality to immigration. Trump's re-election could exacerbate these tensions, leading to more widespread and intense unrest. Environmental policy is another area where Trump's re-election is feared could pose challenges for Europe. His withdrawal from the Paris Agreement and his rollback of environmental regulations have been at odds with Europe's commitment to combating climate change. Europe has been at the forefront of global efforts to address climate change, with ambitious targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and transitioning to renewable energy. Trump's re-election could undermine these efforts, making it harder for Europe to achieve its climate goals. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, has emphasized the importance of global cooperation in tackling climate change. She warned that a lack of commitment from major emitters like the United States could jeopardize the success of international climate agreements. All this seems to be the fears of Trump's opponents in the upcoming elections. And with more details on the attempted assassination revealed to the public, it seems a lot more is about to go down. New details in Trump's attempted assassination. As the news of the Pennsylvania rally shooting broke, the internet was quickly flooded with a torrent of information, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. One of the most sensational claims to emerge was that President Joe Biden might have ordered the shooting. This theory, though baseless, has captivated the imaginations of many and has been propagated by various influential figures and online communities. Repser Mike Collins from Georgia was one of the first to fan the flames. In a post on his personal X account, Collins declared, "Joe Biden sent the orders." He pointed to a quote from Biden where the president said, "It's time to put Trump in a bullseye." This statement, made during a private call with donors, is said to have meant urging them to focus their attention away from the debate and towards Trump. However, the majority of the public seem to think otherwise. Alex Jones, known for his bold claims, quickly jumped on the bandwagon. On his show and social media, Jones called the attack a deep state assassination attempt and a failed coup. He claimed that the deep state, a supposed shadowy network of government officials, orchestrated the attack to eliminate Trump. Proud Boys channels and other right-wing forums echoed these sentiments, alleging that a proposed Democratic bill to strip Secret Service protection from convicted felons, including Trump, was evidence of a planned assassination. Anonymous users on forums like 4chan claimed that Secret Service counter-snipers were ordered not to shoot at the would-be assassin. Some blamed a diversity, equity, and inclusion effort announced by the Secret Service for what they saw as inadequate protection. Photos and videos were taken out of context to portray female agents as incompetent, but verified footage showed these agents were part of a group surrounding Trump as he was ushered off stage. Elon Musk also weighed in, suggesting that extreme incompetence or deliberate action by the Secret Service enabled the shooter to get on the roof. His post was viewed over 90 million times, further fueling the theory that the Secret Service was part of a plot to get rid of Trump. Musk's comments added credibility to the theory for many of his followers, amplifying the reach of this claim. They pointed to a lack of urgency during the attack, comparing it to a similar incident in November 2016 when Trump was rushed off the stage at a campaign rally. The Russian English-language publication Sputnik International amplified similar claims, writing that the Secret Service was suspiciously slow. The theories even reached high-profile individuals. A top political advisor to Democratic donor and LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman wrote in an email to journalists that the shooting was encouraged and maybe even staged. He later apologized for the comments, but the damage was done. The idea that the attack was staged to benefit Trump politically gained traction, with some suggesting that it was a ploy to garner sympathy and rally support. Others blamed an Antifa extremist, sharing a photo of an Italian sports journalist who was actually in Rome at the time of the attack. These false identifications added to the confusion and fueled further conspiracy theories. Conspiracy or not, this isn't the first or second assassination attempt on Trump. The first attempt is a shocking story of a suspect who tried to kill Donald Trump during his presidential campaign. This unbelievable event took place on June 18, 2016, at a rally in Las Vegas, where a young British man named Michael Sandford attempted to seize a police officer's gun with the intention of assassinating Trump. Sandford's action, driven by a complex mix of personal struggles and premeditated planning, sent shockwaves through the political landscape and raised serious questions about security and mental health. Michael Sandford hailed from Dorking, Surrey, where he was known as a very quiet lad. His neighbors and former schoolmates were stunned when they heard about his arrest. Sandford had been living in the United States for 1.5 years, during which he was unemployed, living out of his car, and residing in the country illegally. His father, Paul Davey, described him as always being a polite and peaceful boy, raising questions about what could have driven him to such an extreme act. Sandford's journey to the Las Vegas rally was thoroughly planned. He drove from California to Las Vegas with the sole purpose of killing Trump. He had even booked tickets for a subsequent rally in Phoenix, indicating his determination to carry out his plan. According to court papers, Sandford told investigators that if he had not succeeded in Las Vegas, he would have tried again in Phoenix. The day before the rally, Sandford visited a local shooting range to learn how to use a gun. This chilling detail highlights the premeditated nature of his actions. At the rally, Sandford approached a police officer under the pretense of seeking an autograph from Trump. Suddenly, he then attempted to seize the officer's gun, but was quickly subdued and arrested. Sandford's mental health played a significant role in the narrative. A federal public defender revealed that Sandford had autism and had previously attempted suicide. His father speculated that someone might have manipulated or blackmailed him into attempting the assassination, given his Asperger's syndrome and the drastic nature of his actions. Sandford's background paints a picture of a troubled young man. Neighbors described him as scruffy dressed, often seen in jeans and a baggy t-shirt, and someone who kept to himself. The reaction from Sandford's former schoolmates and teachers was one of disbelief. Katrina Gregg, a neighbor, described him as a very quiet lad who got on well with his mother. An elderly neighbor remarked that kids do strange things, while another classmate recalled him as a bit of a strange one who never really interacted with others. The U.S. Secret Service's investigation revealed that Sanford had been planning the assassination for a year. He told investigators that he expected to die in the attempt, underscoring the depth of his resolve. This revelation added a layer of complexity to the case, as it became clear that Sanford's actions were not a spur-of-the-moment decision, but a calculated plan. Sanford's arrest and subsequent trial garnered significant media attention. The image of him being led away by police at the rally became iconic, symbolizing the heightened tensions and polarized atmosphere of the 2016 presidential campaign. The incident also raised questions about security measures at political events and the potential threats faced by high-profile candidates. The second attempted assassination on Trump's life was by a Canadian woman who is now serving a 22-year sentence in a U.S. prison. Pascale Ferrier, a dual citizen of France and Canada, meticulously planned her deadly scheme from her home in Quebec. Using castor beans, she produced ricin, a highly toxic substance with no known antidote. Even a small dose can cause death within 36 to 72 hours. Ferrier's intent was clear: to eliminate Donald Trump and exact revenge on Texas law enforcement officials she blamed for her previous detention. Ferrier carefully prepared the letters, ensuring they were laced with enough ricin to be lethal. She included a chilling message in the letter to Trump, urging him to drop out of the presidential race and calling him the ugly tyrant clown. Her fingerprints were later found on the envelope, a crucial piece of evidence that would seal her fate. Luckily, in September 2020, the envelope addressed to Donald Trump was intercepted before it could reach the White House. The Secret Service and FBI quickly identified the threat, launching an investigation that would lead them to Ferrier. The discovery of the ricin-laced letter sent shockwaves through the security agencies, highlighting the ever-present danger of biological threats. Ferrier's plan began to unravel when she attempted to cross the border into Buffalo, New York. She was arrested on September 20, 2020, carrying a gun, a knife, and rounds of ammunition. The FBI's investigation had already linked her to the ricin letters, and her arrest marked the beginning of a legal battle that would end with a severe prison sentence. In January 2023, Pascale Ferrier pleaded guilty to biological weapons charges. District Judge Dabney Friedrich presided over the case, ultimately sentencing Ferrier to 262 months in prison, just shy of 22 years. The judge condemned Ferrier's actions as potentially deadly and harmful to society. Ferrier's defense argued that she saw herself as an activist, not a terrorist, but the court was unyielding in its judgment. Ferrier's feud extended beyond Donald Trump. In 2019, she had been detained in Texas for about 10 weeks for unlawfully carrying a weapon and driving without a valid license. She blamed the Texas law enforcement officials for her detention and sought revenge by sending similarly tainted letters to 8 of them. The FBI's investigation revealed that these letters contained the same deadly ricin, further solidifying the case against her. The meticulous nature of her preparation demonstrated a chilling level of intent and premeditation. The FBI's forensic analysis confirmed the presence of ricin in the letters, leaving no doubt about Ferrier's guilt. The case of Pascale Ferrier underscores the relentless pursuit of justice by U.S. authorities and the severe penalties for those who threaten public safety. Pascale Ferrier's story is one of extreme measures and harsh consequences. Her 22-year sentence underscores the severity of her actions and the relentless pursuit of justice by U.S. authorities. As she serves her time, the world watches, reminded of the thin line between activism and terrorism. The final shocking discovery in the case is that a man had prophesied the shooting a month before it took place.
And then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum.